Hello everyone, I hope that your week is going well. I just wanted to touch base really quickly. Ideally I would have had this little video out last Friday, but I fell ill on Friday and then spent part of the week and also taking care of sick kiddos. But I think for many of you guys you're going to be working on this today and tomorrow, so I just wanted to send out a quick video because I've had a couple of questions on what exactly the 4.1 Part A document or assignment is for and then where we'll be heading. So I went ahead and I updated the directions, which are actually located down here in 4.1. So while often up here it'll say submit something, there are always going to be directions embedded in the actual assignment. So if we click on there, you can see that I've expanded this a little bit from when it initially posted before. It just said submit Part A, but I wanted to give a little bit of context since we weren't able to discuss a little bit of the context in class the last time we met. So this is essentially a beginning draft of your TLE for this class. So by the end of the semester, everybody who's in 662 will have a final copy of their TLE. And the TLEs form one of the ways that we assess your progress in the program. There are 4 TLEs over the course of your time taking classes at FPU, and this is going to be the very first one that you'll submit. It will be submitted in draft form eventually and then final form, but the Part A, Part B, Part C is really gathering all the data for the information and beginning to compile your resources. So you can view Part A, B, and C as a rough draft in pieces. You're going to piece those together to create your classroom TLE in the next couple of 6-8 weeks here. So just a couple of quick things. So the classroom environment TLE is broken into 3 parts, Part A, B, and C. In Part A, you are really beginning to look at your classroom or the classroom that you're in. And we are going to do that for our 662 teachers through using SIBME. And so the directions here in Part A talk about that you're going to create a detailed map of your arrangement of your classroom. You can use pictures however you want to do that, but some sort of a visual that shows us where the seats are and how your room is situated. And we did this a little bit with the video, but go ahead and just draft a map. You can use any tool online or you can actually hand draw one. That would be great. And then you're going to talk about how your physical arrangement of the classroom affects your routines, your instructions, and your student activities. So you have the description and then you'll have a written portion, and this would just be in a Word document form of some kind. If you take pictures, go ahead and cut and paste those directly into your Word document. And then you're going to do an observation of your classroom events, and this is where you're going to spend 20 to 30 minutes as an observer. And again, if you are a 662 candidate, you're going to be using your SIBME video and your mentor for support as needed. You're going to use note-taking, note-making to record your observations, but I'm not going to collect that, so that's just for the purposes. And you're really focusing in on how do classroom rules and norms apply to the events that were in the video? And then did the teacher make the rules, norms explicit? Were they followed by the students, and what subsequent actions were taken by the teacher? So in that 20 to 30 minute time period, there will definitely be rules or norms present. And so how did you make those explicit? Were they followed by students? And if the students did not follow the rules or norms established, what subsequent actions did you take as the teacher? So for Part A, we're not going to require you to begin to incorporate the text that you've been reading, so skillful teacher or passionate learner. But if you want to go ahead and begin that, you can. We're kind of taking the next step with the required citations in Part B. But this first one is, again, just getting the physical space of your room down on a map, talking about or interpreting how that physical space affects routines, instruction, and student activities. So you could definitely use Skillful Teacher, the chapter on space, if you want to, in that portion. And then you're going to do your observation, really focusing in on the rules and norms, how the teacher made those rules and norms explicit, Did the students follow those? And then if the students did not follow, what subsequent actions were taken by the teacher? So really focusing in on that in that 20 to 30 minute observation. All right, so that's a little bit about that. So as you come back to Moodle here, I just want to note where we're going. Okay. Oh, one other quick note. When you upload in SIBME, don't upload in the 662 class huddle. Upload in the individual huddle that we have together, so that not all the other students need to see those videos. But I'd like to just take a look at the quality and how you're framing your pictures in your room and everything, so I can know how to take the next steps with SIBME. So like I mentioned before, this is a rough draft starting point for your final classroom teaching and learning experience paper, which is going to be added to your portfolio. So what I want you to also make sure that we do as you're working on Part A is to take a look at the teaching and learning guidelines. These guidelines are whole programs, so whether you're doing the program in Merced, Visalia, or Fresno, those guidelines apply to everybody. And then there's also a classroom environment TLE sample, and that's kind of the end result. So after we do Part A, Part B, Part C, you'll take those ideas and formulate a draft, and then you'll actually get feedback from myself and possibly peers, and then you'll turn in a final draft. So a couple of notes about formatting. As we move into Part B and C, you will be required to use in-text citations using APA formatting. So we've started to use that a little bit in the forums, but I haven't been providing feedback on your APA. So just take a look at Al at Purdue. Remember, you don't have to ever memorize the APA rules, but I say that you want to develop an APA eye, so that when you're reading, that you can say, oh, that doesn't look right. I'm going to go look and find out how I need to adjust so that it does fit APA. And another quick note down here, if you are planning on continuing in our MAT program or another master's program, I really would encourage you to start using a tool like Mendeley. Zotero is another one, and there are a couple other ones, but I have found that Mendeley is very user-friendly. It can store your articles, all of your citations, and it essentially creates your reference page automatically when installed as your as an add-in into Word. So I would love to share a little bit more about this if we want to spend any time before we have class, between that 5:15 and 6 o'clock hour. When I'm just have the coffee out, we can look at Mendeley then, or we can set up a time one-on-one to do that. So sorry for not having the clear directions on Part A fully posted until just recently, but hopefully that guides you a little bit. You're doing the 20 to 30 minute video as 662 students. You're going to do note-taking, note-making that I will not collect, and then you're going to focus in on the norms and rules that were established by the teacher, how the students reacted to those norms or rules, and then what the teacher did in order to recorrect, adjust, modify, kind of guide the class back into those norms and rules. And in a 30-minute time period, I'm pretty sure that there'll be multiple times where we'll have examples of the teachers doing that. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know. This is going to be submitted right under 4.1 as a Word document. And then your only other assignment is to read Chapter 13 and be prepared to discuss Chapter 14 in class on Thursday. So we're going to be spending a lot of time on classroom management and discipline as we head into Thursday night's class. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope this was just a helpful guide as you work on your Part A of your classroom environment investigation. All right, thanks. Have a great day, and I'll see you in a couple days.